There were a lot of witnesses that I came forward about. Witnesses that can verify that I'm telling the truth in my stories. People like Mariah Johnson. Now, the police never bothered to go talk to any of these witnesses, but I can tell that they've been watching my videos because my witnesses have been harassed by police. Mariah Johnson has been harassed and illegally charged with crimes that she didn't commit, has to fear not getting to see her family because, well, I admitted that she was a witness. She's a witness. She was actually one of the people, believe it or not, she was one of the people who was campaigning against me when Natalie first disappeared. But unlike these cowards who will not admit when they fuck up, who won't admit when they did wrong, Mariah Johnson apologized and we became friends. I've never met her in person and I would absolutely love to. But right now, she's dealing with the consequences of me speaking up in public. She's dealing with the consequences of being targeted by the police. A lot of my witnesses were targeted by police. I didn't want to speak their names in public. I didn't want to have to do that. But I was targeted by the public because of slander. Mariah Johnson can probably tell you all sorts of stuff that's been said about me. The things that I was threatened, harassed, and assaulted over. Miss Johnson can tell you that it was because of the news and the media and all of the hatred towards me, the slander against me. That's the reason that she hated me in the very beginning. When me and Mariah Johnson became friends, I had made a video about how someone I know would probably freeze to death on Christmas. And then a mutual friend of ours named Benji froze to death on Christmas. He froze to death. And that's how me and Mariah became friends, but only for a couple of days because as soon as Natalie disappeared, Mariah sent a bunch of really mean stuff to me. But afterwards, after they found Joseph Michael Lopez, she realized I was telling the truth because she doesn't just know the life. Miss Peaches knows the life, but she hasn't had to live it, whereas Mariah Johnson has. Mariah Johnson knows what it's like to have crooked cops pull you over and pull a bunch of bullshit because you're broke and steal your vehicle and get away with it because you don't have the money for an actual lawyer. Mariah Johnson has sent me some of the stuff from her court cases. It's in my YouTube, or in not on my YouTube. I haven't made it public. I've got it for safekeeping. A lot of the people who tried to help me were targeted by the police. A lot of my witnesses who could have come forward are too terrified because of police. Mariah Johnson has been targeted by the police in Boulder County, Colorado, because I spoke up. Mandy Hughes, I was trying to explain to her that, well, the witnesses that I had spoken out about had been targeted by the police. And I was explaining this to Mandy because she was explaining to me how she had been targeted by the police. I'd already been speaking out about Mandy for a long time. I had been speaking out about how Mandy had been trying to help me, and every step of the way, things are getting in the way. I just assumed because she said that she looked at my YouTube videos. She watched my YouTube videos and she looked at my Facebook. I just assumed that she already knew. But she didn't want to be targeted. She was afraid of being targeted, and that's why she was trying to keep her name private. She was smart to do so. And a lot of these Facebook groups, a lot of these Natalie Bollinger groups, if you spoke up to defend me instead of slander my name, you got kicked out of these groups immediately. And it's because of the slander in those groups and in the media and by Mike Boudet. It's because of that slander that I was victimized by the public. It was because of that slander that I have continued to be victimized. And a lot of people are pissed off at me for speaking out. Mandy Hughes is pissed because I spoke out, but she was targeted by the police as well. And I tried explaining that to her. Hey, everybody that I spoke out about was targeted by police. They had to be afraid to come forward. Candace Bondurant had to be afraid of getting her children taken away, getting thrown out in the snow by her landlord. She was harassed by Officer Michael Beard. Harassed over something that Officer Michael Beard never had anything to do with the exception of me being afraid that Miss Shelley was being beaten to death by Ted Bollinger or one of his cronies. It took me a while to realize that that was a setup. That Miss Shelley had done that on purpose because at the time they hadn't caught Joseph Michael Lopez. She thought I had done it. And they were willing to pull whatever trick that they could to try to catch the big bad wolf. What did Candace do when people were posting up pictures of her living room in these Facebook groups? These Natalie Bollinger groups were not Natalie Bollinger justice groups. They were Sean Schwartz hate groups. And she was afraid immediately because of that picture. I got to hear Candace go on a half of an hour rant about how she would fucking kill somebody if they came through her door, how she would put a bullet right between their eyes, about how she had a 45 and she would kill somebody. But she had it in her head it was going to be somebody like Ted Bollinger or one of these people from these Facebook groups. No, the people who came to harass her were the police. I understand full well why she was fucking scared shitless. I understand full well why it is that she threw me to the wolves and then threw me under the bus. I understand full well why she played victim. I understand full well. There's a Facebook group that a lot of people have tried to get themselves invited to called The Real Justice for Natalie Bollinger, No Drama. Katie Cahill was in charge of that group. Katie Cahill got tired of the threats and the harassment. She had made another group before that, and several of my predators that I spoke out about, predators who are allowed to speak in my court dates that I was prevented from going to, as well as the court dates that I was allowed to go to, but not allowed to show evidence or speak up on my own behalf in. People like Kara Johnson Miles. Matter of fact, I'm going to end this live stream right now. I'm going to find that video and I'm going to post it down here in the link description.